Hello and welcome to Newsmakers for this Tuesday, September 17, 2024. I'm Louie Butko, and thanks for checking us out however you found us. And on today's show, we're taking a look back at the recently wrapped Toronto International Film Festival. And to do that, very pleased to be joined by our very own Emily Tayler. Hey.
Oh, hello.
So I was thinking about a couple of different names. Talking TIFF with Taylor. TIFF.
I love it.
Taylor talking TIFF.
Okay.
Though that's as far as I got.
No, both of those are great.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
TIFF, Taylor. It was what an experience. Okay, for anybody who has never been to TIFF, this was your second.
Yep.
Paint a picture of what it's like from leaving the station. We get the drive to Toronto, but take a picture of what a day in the life of reporting at TIFF looks like.
Yeah, people think it's really glamorous. I always, the entire time I'm at TIFF, people are like, did you meet this person? Did you meet this person? You must love the red carpet. And it's a lot of waiting and a lot of being in very small spaces with nowhere else to breathe. Yeah. So you come in, I was this year, because our carpets were frequently at night, I would shoot content at night and then come back in the morning and cut it for the day. So you have one thing already prepackaged. So I'm already there for like an hour cutting. Mm-hmm. Then we hop in the car. You already know the drive to Toronto. I don't need to talk about that, how terrible that is frequently. But thank God, Dwayne, our lovely cameraman, drove every single day for me. So that was my one diva moment, is that I won't drive to Toronto.
Oh, there you guys
I know.
are.
There we are.
Dwayne's probably going to be mad that I ripped these off his Facebook page. But getting to work with Dwayne, because you were one day was with Peeler, because you guys need days off.
2 days.
Couple days with Peeler, because yes, you guys need your days off every once in a while there. How much easier did it make it having this guy there?
Peeler did a great job as well. I have no complaints about Peeler at all.
Darn, I tried to get you on the record complaining.
No complaints.
We love you, Peeler.
It was his first time doing it, so it's much more like, where do I park? How do we get here? Where is this? And I'm like, no, I promise, everything is within a 5-minute walking distance. So once you're actually parked there, it's a lot of like, okay, grab the gear, but now we're going to go wait for 2 hours, because you have to be there an hour early, and then you have to wait on the carpet for another hour, and then you actually start doing things. So it's a lot of like, oh, what's going on? What do I do? And then you like have your gear and you're in front of the red carpet and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm just waiting.
You mentioned the media. A lot different this year, a lot more media. Yeah. Last year with the strike, and we'll get to the major differences, but I feel like it is, even like when we go to things now, it's a reminder of the way things almost used to be. Yeah. Right? Whether it's a press conference and there's lots of cameras there, whether it's a sports, again, a press conference, but media conferences, but things that had a lot of people all fighting for their spots. It's almost a time like before.
Yes, no, completely, right? I mean, TIFF has seen a couple of major changes over the past few years, but this is sort of their first big festival since maybe 2019. So I think the biggest carpet I was on had 70 media outlets on the one carpet, and literally you have no space at all to move around. It feels very pre-COVID. It feels very like we did not learn any lessons from like staying distance at all. Like the space I would have would be about this big. I'm sideways. I can't even stand fully like with my shoulders frontward, because there's so many people packed in this little tight space. We're all sideways, like sticking our microphones out, like, please stop at me, please like come over and talk. No, you're like fully next to each other. And there's one venue indoors, the Princess of Wales, where, again, small venue, you only have a couple feet to move around. Behind you, no feet side to side. And then there's a massive pole, so it's like one of those like banisters, so it's like me and Peeler, and we have this much space. The camera's like over my shoulder, very much like leaning on my shoulder kind of thing, and I'm again just like trying to throw my mic out as far as I can, and it's no space at all. Very tight.
So what's your favorite part of that? I mean, like that that answer right there sounded claustrophobic at times, chaotic, sometimes unorganized chaos, disorganized. So did you love it?
I loved it.
What'd you love about it?
So I say all these things because it's a little disorganized, a little chaotic, but it's really fun. It just, I am someone who needs to do something different constantly, which is why I like doing reporting, anchoring, producing, like all these different things at different times. And this is just like a hugely different thing that I get to do for 2 weeks. Yeah. And it's just totally my own. I'm not like trying to catch up on the day of, going like, oh, what's happening today? What's going on? I'm like, I've prepped for this. Like,
I have to get 4 minutes of content out. What's the best way to do it? You got left on your own.
Yeah, exactly. And it's fun, you know?
Yeah.
And you are meeting celebrities, which is kind of cool. And like, I don't get very starstruck, but there's a couple really big names there that are really interesting to talk to and to see in person. And
so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this moment we're looking at now. I mean, one of the first nights, obviously she didn't have time to talk, but like here you are at a red carpet looking at two people I'm sure you've seen in the movies, on screens, for decades. What was that like?
It's very cool. I don't get like super starstruck, and I'm also in like work mode when I'm there. So I think if you saw a celebrity on the street, you'd be like, oh my God, you know? Like my biggest starstruck moment ever is when I saw someone in Toronto that was like in Degrassi once when I was like 18, and I almost cried. Like it was a big thing. But on the red carpet, I'm in work mode. I'm like, what am I gonna ask? I need at least 30 seconds to a minute of content. If I don't get JLo, who else do I have from the supporting cast that I can use clips of? Like, what do I ask the director versus the producer? Things like that. And JLo did not talk to any of us anyways. And we kind of expected that.
Yeah.
You always know based on the timing. So you're on the carpet for about an hour and a half, but nothing will happen until about 45 minutes before the carpet. Then you start to get like producers will come out and supporting cast members will come out. And if the leads don't come out until about 10 minutes before the film, there's no chance because they're there to do intros for the film, right? They take their photos, they greet a couple fans, and they need to be in the building for the start of the movie. So JLo comes out like 10 minutes to the movie, and we're like, there's zero chance this is happening.
Yeah.
She takes a couple photos, they directly pull her right down the carpet, and she goes.
Because I mean, that's the other part of it. You mentioned a lot of it is setting up and waiting, which is a lot of this job sometimes, is setting up and waiting.
Yes.
You know, waiting for something to happen, waiting for that moment. How do you keep yourself busy during that waiting time? What's going through your mind?
Honestly, I try and get as prepped as I can for those busy periods.
Yeah.
So I am pre-writing my scripts. Right after the carpet, I have to pre-tape, usually for Morning Live and for the 6th the next day, and sometimes for Trending Now, because I'm on every single one of the shows that we have in this time.
You did a great job on every single one of the shows. Yeah.
So I'm like squatting on the carpet in my 1 foot of space, usually like typing on my phone what is I'm going to say for the pre-tape, so that I don't have to like think about it too hard right after. We can end the carpet, I can pre-tape on the carpet, and then we can get the heck out of there.
Researching for movies that are having their premieres.
Yes.
What's that like, and what, like, because you got to be ready for anybody. Yes, you know, JLo's probably not going to happen. You know, I'm not. How are you handling the divorce? I don't know, right? Like, I'd panic, but
and that's why she didn't want to answer anything, right? Like,
especially with her ex-husband's best friend walking the red carpet with her, and
he didn't walk. He took photos, then he went around the back.
Whoa!
Didn't even walk.
Easy, David.
Yeah.
Big time celebrity. How do you prepare? Because that's a tough assignment. There are movies that may not have any reviews yet. You don't know who you're gonna get. Like, it's thinking on your feet, but you need to be somewhat prepared. How did you do that?
It is a bit of thinking on your feet. Most of the movies don't even have a trailer yet because many come to festivals looking for a distributor. Yeah. So they don't have trailers. They'll maybe have one image out there and like a brief synopsis. Some have trailers, some already have distributors, so those are a bit more well known. Honestly, part of it is that we at CH are not an entertainment publication, so our viewers don't usually have a rapport with these celebrities where I can ask like really nitty-gritty conversations of, oh, remember we talked last year about this? Like, what do you think about it now? You know, people are just really excited to hear from these celebrities and about these movies. So oftentimes, if it's a supporting cast member that I might not know, maybe it's their first movie. Frequently, I'm asking about what it was like on set, what it's like to work with these big names, what it's like being in Toronto for maybe their first time ever. Many of the supporting cast members, this is their first film. They come from theater, they come from music, they come from wherever else. So they're just so excited to be there that you could ask anything and they're just like willing to chat about it.
I was just about to say, yes, there's the people who look like it's just a chore, right? They're in this movie, they got paid a lot of money, they have to be there. Like, did you kind of find yourself relating to those people who are just kind of soaking up the moment, especially like, from year 1 to year 2, like the confidence, just knowing what to expect. And like maybe start there with the biggest difference for you from going from year 1 to year 2. What did you kind of learn about it, and how did you apply it to make this time better?
Yeah, I think I was a lot more prepped this year. I still, like last year, I did my research, but this year I tried to have most of my pre-writes ready to go. And we did a lot of pre-cutting, so I wasn't cutting in the field, which really, really helped. So I would come to the station early, I would cut all my B-roll. I had a few days to prep before this, so anything that had a trailer, I I already had a sound up cut and ready to go. So when I was coming into the station, I just copied and pasted it over from my rundown, and it was already ready, which was so nice. So that was a big thing this year. Last year, I brought everything with me on a little a drive, and I cut it in the field. And in the field is like you're sitting on a concrete like the side of like a planter.
There's no media room with.
There is, but it's so far away. It's nowhere near the actual venues, so no one uses it. And I think there's theoretically Wi-Fi, but again, there's no point in walking all of your gear all the way down there and then walking all the way back. So I'm like hunched and like trying to cut on a laptop. And this year we did a lot more prep in advance, so I was ready to go, and I knew exactly which movies I was going to and what I was applying to and all of those things. And also going for a second year, I actually got onto more red carpets this year. I got denied from a couple last year because they didn't know who I was. I got into every red carpet I applied to this year.
That's awesome. But again, like that's what like TIFF's not gonna just say yes to people who want to be there just for the sake of being there. And again, you've put out multiple reports across multiple different shows, highlighting a lot of what was going on at TIFF, which is what we appreciate. We want to get you on to recap it all. The experience of TIFF, obviously, you know, some people will say it's a big headache if you live down there. You know, the traffic, you know, people, you know, the 10,000 people that were waiting for Selena Gomez type thing.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Now that you've worked it a couple times, is there a part of you that like would go back as a fan in some capacity? Maybe not like, I'm going to wait in the barriers, but, you know, if you got an invite from somebody. Like, how do you look at it? Because it is very Hollywood, celebrity, and that's a pretty divisive issue on its own.
I think that's totally fair. I actually every year say I'm going to go see the movies. My press pass lets me go watch the movies as well. And every year the thought of getting myself to and from Toronto, and on top of the 12-hour days I'm already doing, then watching a movie, and then again like getting back and forth in the GO train, I never do it. So I would love to go see, especially one of the premier galas where you have the celebrities walk the carpet, they come in, they do a Q&A. If there's someone I really like, a movie I really want to see, that would be such a cool special experience to have. I'm probably not going to wait by the barriers for Selena Gomez. I think she's very cool, but I don't. I couldn't wait for like hours and hours just to see someone walk by. That's I hate lines more than I like celebrities.
The part I appreciate as somebody who is a terrible dresser is your fashion sense on the red carpet. How long in advance did you, like, how far in advance did you plan the outfits? The sparkly one to close it down. Let me just say, what a way to end it.
Thank you.
Great look. All of the looks were great. But I'm not trying to be condescending. Like, you know I'm being genuine when I say this.
No, it's a big part of it.
How far in advance did you plan your outfits?
A couple weeks. I think a few weeks.
Yeah.
There are many considerations.
Absolutely.
Part of it is comfort. You can't wear, or I can't wear heels because I can't go that many hours of being on my feet in high heels.
Yeah.
That would not work. And then part of it is you want to stand out, right? It's both in the fact that I am, of course, working on the red carpet and that I am on camera and that I want to, look presentable and seen, but also Dwayne has this theory that the better dressed you are, the more likely the celebrity is to stop in front of you. And this was big last year because I wore that same sparkly top you're looking at right now. This is also a last year's TIFF outfit for me, or the same shirt. And the big carpet last year was Sly with Sylvester Stallone. It's a documentary about him, so he got an exemption from the actor strike to be able to show up because he was the subject of a documentary instead. Yeah. And he was, he did the first couple, and then he skips a bunch of steps right in front of me, and I was like, all right, thank you. And Dwayne definitely attributes it to the sparkly outfit.
That's amazing. Again, we started with this, we're talking about the appreciation of working with Dwayne. Mm-hmm. Give me a good Dwayne tidbit. Safe for air. All of his stories are safe for air. But what was your favorite Dwayne moment of the week?
I have two.
Okay.
And the first one is that in speaking to maybe a little bit of the disorganization right off the top, they kept loading the carpet in front to back. So it'd be they call number one, then they call number two, and number two has to sneak through number one. And like I said, there's not a lot of room. Yeah. So then they started loading it back to front, thank goodness. And every time someone would try and walk through, he would go, the seatbelt sign is on. It's an airplane. No, there's no moving back and forth between the carpet. It's always frustrated with that. And my second is that every year, and I suspect this has been happening long before I started doing TIFF, he says this year will be his last year. Every single year. This year, the entire time, he brings a ladder, both to help with the shots and also as a stool to sit on. So he's sitting on his stool and he's like, this is my last year. I'm not doing it again next year. This is my last year. the drive home. He's like, all right, I'll do it again. Yeah, if you're doing it next year, I'll do it too.
Amazing. Amazing. That's the ultimate Dwayne compliment. Yes. Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
It was fine.
I think there was like a full week I had to fill in as a reporter, and so we were working together all week. So Friday, I was like, hey, sorry you had to work with me all week. It wasn't that bad. And I was like, all right, that's like the highest compliment you can get from Dwayne. Speaking of where people can find you, we got used to seeing you on the evening news. I know you got a stint on Morning Live coming up in a few weeks, but where can people see you right now? What are you up to this week?
A little bit of everything. Mostly trending now. Also, the 6 one day. I'm still italicizing the schedule. We're not certain on the hours. And then
we can see you wherever.
I'll be everywhere, and then I'm on Morning Live for the next couple of weeks.
Next week? Starting next week?
Starting next week, yeah.
Excellent. We'll have fun. I know it's been a while since you've worked those hours, so let me just remind you, Emily, it's early.
You got any tips?
Just set multiple alarms. That worked for me and my watch. So
perfect.
I know you're busy today, so thank you for making time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, my thanks to Emily Tayler for joining me today, recapping TIFF, Talking TIFF with Taylor. That was the name of today's show. So thank her for joining me, and thank you for joining us as well. Thanks to Mike Corson for directing today as well. And while you're here, why don't you like and subscribe to CHCH Podcast so you never miss an episode of this show or any of the other great shows we have for you. One more time, thank you for listening. From all of us here at CHCH, I'm Louie Butko. Have a great day.